Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because we are going over my February favorites. The items I was using the most, whether I was filming a tutorial for you guys, going to work every day, or just on the weekends, hanging out with Luke or my friends. What were my favorite products to reach for? Now you guys, before we jump into it, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell for notifications of new videos, and if you like this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. But if you want to see what I was loving in February, just keep watching. Okay, you guys, I have quite a few things in front of me. Some things are new and just got released the earlier part of this year, or some things have been in my collection and I just found a new love for them. One of those things is my primer, and I only have one. I mean, I keep reaching for the Tarte Timeless. I could talk about it in every single video, but then I'm just beating a dead horse. My favorite primer that I was using and reaching for, and I actually have it on right now, is the Nabla Angel Aura. This came out last year and I used it a couple times, but it came out in like spring, summertime frame. I'm an oily gal, so I didn't reach for it that much at that point, but this winter I have been reaching for it and my skin looks so nice right now. Most of my skin today is drugstore, but the Angel Aura is what I prepped with along with my Tarte Timeless. So this, if you have never picked this up, go pick it up. It is so good. It just gives a nice shine to the skin. It's hydrating. I put my makeup on around 6:30 this morning. It is now 5:44, so almost a full 12 hours, and I haven't touched up my makeup. I haven't even touched up my powder, and we're going to get into that. But if you're an oily person but you want something that's still hydrating and doesn't push through your makeup, I slept on this for a while because, you know, in the summer you're not wanting to look greasy, but the winter my skin loves this. And it's the only primer that I have as like one of my like big favorites. Now for foundations. One is a carryover from January and everyone has been loving this foundation. It is the Laura Mercier Real Flawless Weightless Perfecting Foundation. Still loving this, still reaching for it, but I have two other foundations that I was reaching for, and one I took with me when Luke and I went snowboarding. It's waterproof. It withstood all the weather. They were making snow. It was a little cold. My makeup stayed put. And that is the Dior Forever Skin Glow. It's not new, but I picked it up right before we left. I did do a tutorial with it, so you'll eventually see that probably in the next week or so. But this I was reaching for. It does have a broad spectrum SPF of 15, and then waterproof, stayed put. I didn't have to touch it up, and it looked beautiful all day, even with the snow in my face, wind burn, just you name it, it did it. Now the one, if you saw the drugstore video where I originally picked up this CC cream, I picked up the wrong shade, but once I picked up the right shade of the e.l.f. Camo Hydrating CC cream, which my right shade is light 280N, I was loving this. I've talked about it recently how when I was younger I wanted mattifying. I just wanted everything to look slick and just pressed down. But as I've gotten older, I like a more hydrating, dewy looking foundation. But then I'm going to set it with a mattifying powder to just make it stay put. This is not what I'm wearing today. I actually wore the ColourPop Hyaluronic Foundation, which is also really good. But if you need a good hydrating, lightweight foundation that isn't going to show all your imperfections, and when you go and set it with a mattifying powder, it's just going to look beautiful, I highly recommend this one. Another carryover from January, that is for my concealer, and it's the Natasha Denona High Glam. I was taking this with me when I went snowboarding. It just looks beautiful under the eyes, and it is one of my favorites for just concealing my lines. But I do have two from the drugstore, not trying to make that rhyme, also a tongue twister apparently. This one is new, and it is also what I have underneath my eye right now. It is the L'Oreal True Match Serum Corrector. This is absolutely beautiful. So that is what I have under my eyes right now, and it still looks nice and smooth. Over time, I'm going to expect creasiness to come through, but it's standing up to it. It's not too creasy. My eyes look really nice. Everything today still looking good, and it's mostly drugstore. But if you have not tried this concealer, it's from L'Oreal. The doe foot is very interesting. It's kind of like a triangular doe foot. A little goes a long way. It's easy to start with a little bit, build it up, and see how much you actually need. But just a little triangle and then a little bit on the outside, pat that in, and your under eyes will look beautiful. So this is not touched up, and it still looks really nice. This one was a repurchase, and I kind of talked about it in one of my previous videos. This is the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser. I had to repurchase this in a newer shade, but it is still a tried and true, still beautiful under the eyes. Age Rewind, I need it absolutely for my creasy under eyes. It doesn't matter, they're never going to go away unless I get plastic surgery. But I can use concealer, foundation, powders to try and smooth them out a little bit. And of my concealers, these three I have been reaching for the most in February. You've got one high-end and then you've got two drugstores. If you need options, one of these three is there for you. For powder. I don't know that I'm ever going to navigate away from the Huda Beauty, what is this, the Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. This one I did pick up in the Peach Pie shade, which is beautiful on the skin. It is what I have on right now. It's still, you know, allowing my skin to look really nice without letting oils push through. And it's still mattified down, which I absolutely love about the Huda Beauty setting powder. However, I do have a really good setting powder from the drugstore, and I was reaching for Rimmel Stay Matte. This I used in one of my drugstore videos earlier on in February, and then I kept reaching for it. You know, this one is a tried and true and I really like it, but this one is also very affordable and beautiful, and it just helps mattify the skin. So if you're looking for a more affordable option, definitely pick this one up. And it's been out for years. There's a reason it's still on the shelves. Into contour bronzer, and I have one in each. This was actually just in my Sephora bestsellers video, a full face of Sephora best-selling makeup. This is the Fenty Beauty Matchstick. I did repurchase in a new shade, which is Mocha. It's so good. I used this all of February. I took it with me snowboarding. I wanted cream products to kind of blend together and do what they needed to do, set them, and then let all of that work its way throughout snowboarding. The fastest I went on the trails, and I had an app that kind of tracked all of that, was 18 miles per hour, and it was windy, so I had some intense wind burn if you saw one of my previous videos. But I just wanted my makeup to stay with me all day and not look atrocious at the end of snowboarding or when we decided to go and get dinner. I didn't want to have to touch up too much. But I was loving the Fenty Matchstick, and then for my bronzer, I had the Milani Cheek Kiss Cream Bronzer. This is so good. And it's so creamy and buttery smooth. It blends out perfectly on the forehead. It's definitely one that you need to add into your collection if you like cream products. I was terrified of cream products for quite a long time, especially being very oily. I was under the impression that an oily person couldn't wear cream products, and that's not the case. If you know what you're doing as far as putting them down and then setting them properly, they're gonna stay in place. And this one, so good. Definitely a must for your collection. For blushes, and I have it on right now, this is the RMS Beauty Pomegranate Fizz, the Redimension Hydra Powder Blush. I have been using intense bright blushes. This is a little toned down because I wore it to work, but the past couple days Past couple of weeks, it's been a little more intense. But muted down, it is still really beautiful on the skin. But when you just amplify it a little bit, and when I get home, I'll touch it up. I haven't touched this. Since I got home, I kind of went into cleaning up a couple things and then getting my February favorites together. I did not touch up any of my makeup, and this is 12 hours. The blush is still there. It still looks nice. Just a nice flush, especially after work. But if you have not picked up the RMS Beauty blushes, they are beautiful. I also have this one in Bohemian Girl. It's like a peachy shade. It's very beautiful. And then of course, it wouldn't be my February favorites without some cream blush products. I have two. So Rare Beauty, I use this in my Sephora Full Face of Bestsellers. There's a reason it's on the best-selling list. It is so nice on the skin, so easy to blend out. You can have it very intense, you can have it subdued and muted out, but it just blends out beautifully on the skin. I did use mine on top of cream products and then set it with setting powder. It still lasted, it was still very beautiful, and I just loved how it looked on my skin. But you can, tone it down if you don't want it as intense. I have mine in the shade Happy. So, so beautiful. And then this one a little goes a long way. When I used this in my drugstore review, I had the tiniest little dot and it just, whew. This is the e.l.f. Camo Liquid Blush. So I used it in the pinky shade. The orange shade, it still kind of scares me. But this is Pinky Promise. And then I have Coral Crush. But they are beautiful on the skin. I've gotten more into the intense blush shades, but still, beware. They are very intense for a small amount. So the best way I found to apply it was put it on the back of my hand, take my brush, and then apply it to my skin. Don't put it straight on your cheek. You may live to regret that decision because you're going to be sitting there trying to mute it down, and it's just easier to blend it out on your hand, pat it onto your skin, and go from there. Intense, affordable, beautiful. For highlighters. This one took forever for me to actually get into my collection because it just kept selling out. This is the Rare Beauty highlighter in Flaunt, and it is a gold shade. It is so beautiful, so beaming, buttery smooth. It's just so luscious and nice on the skin. I do want to pick it up in more of a cool tone because I don't always wear warm tones, and this is much better on warm tones than cool tones, but it is still a very stunning highlighter. There is a reason this has been sold out at Sephora, and I just have my email notifications on to let me know when the shade I want comes back in. Do not sleep on it. Go pick it up. You will not be disappointed if you love a beaming highlighter. And it looks so wet on the skin. The other one, and this one is a splurge. And I don't know that everyone's gonna want this. It is a very beautiful highlighter, but it's expensive. And this is the Pat McGrath Lab Skin Fetish Sublime Skin Highlighter in Nude Opal. This was part of her release for Valentine's Day. It is a stunning shade. I love the pressings, and it is oh so wet and juicy looking. But my suggestion is if you want to pick it up and you do not want to spend the price point, wait for them to go on sale on her site because she has sales all the time, and you can pick up some of her very beautiful, not necessarily affordable products at a steal of a price when they're on sale. That's my recommendation. All right, so for brows, I have a brow pencil and I have a brow gel. These were both in the Sephora Full Face of Bestsellers video, and there's a reason they are Sephora bestsellers. This is the Sephora Retractable Brow Pencil. I have mine in the shade medium brown. It's so nice when it applies. It's not super creamy, it's not super hard. It just flicks on right where you need it to be. It's what I have on my brows today, as well as the brow gel. This is the Rare Beauty brow gel. It is so beautiful. I take it backwards through and then I flick it through once. If you go in too heavy-handed with it, if you want lamination brows, you can definitely achieve that. I still like my brows to be fluffy, which is what I have going on right now. But go through once, bring it back through, they'll set down. If you go in too many times, they're going to laminate to your forehead. And to me, I don't like that. But the fluffy brow, I'm definitely behind that. So these two for brows have been one of my go-tos, especially because I was always reaching for my Benefit Fluff Up Brow Wax, and I really still love that, but these two I have been reaching for a lot since I did that Sephora bestsellers video. I have two mascaras, and only because I took the one with me snowboarding because I wanted something that when my makeup got wet or my eyelashes got misted, I wouldn't have running mascara and end up looking like the Crow or the Joker. But this one is a tubing mascara. It's from KVD. It is the full sleeve mascara. Everyday snowboarding, I wore this. I love it because it just coats the lashes. It doesn't make them feel super crunchy. They look full. And then even with getting snow or water, I wasn't having them streak down my face, which is kind of one of those things that I'm not a fan of. But I don't like to buy waterproof mascara. It seems to dry out my lashes. So this mascara, a tubing mascara, because this one, or I haven't picked it up recently, Thrive Cosmetics has a really good tubing mascara. It just seems to last, and it doesn't matter if it's waterproof. It just stays in place until you start messing with it later on at night. So if you need a good tubing mascara, the KVD full sleeve. But this one, a lot of these are from the Sephora bestsellers video, and there's a reason for that. But this is the Ilia Limitless Lash Mascara. And I only bought a little travel size tube of it. I need to pick up a full size of this. It has been one of my favorites to use. And the brush itself is quite interesting. So there's a little comb right there. And then the rest of the brush is different varied shapes of bristles. But this helps, the brush helps separate your lashes. And then this part of the brush makes them look so fluffy and full. It is such a good mascara. There's a reason it's rated #1. If you haven't picked it up, if you haven't tried it out, I highly recommend it. It is so good for liners. And I only have liquid liners. I've been using the same ones in my waterline as far as, what is it? The Urban Decay 24/7 Ultra Glide. Where is it? I can't find it. The Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Pencil. I reach for it when I go to work because it is waterproof. It's going to stay in place. It's been there for 12 hours. I probably could have touched it up, but it's not dire. Now for liquid liner, these two I have been reaching for a lot. This one is a carryover from January. It is the Urban Decay 24/7 Inks. I love this. I talked about it. It's got the kind of reminiscent pencil grip, but the Stila Stay All Day Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner. This is so good, and it has a felt tip and it is very pointy, so you get a very precise wing. And it was so nice that it would tightline so close to my waterline that it didn't block my eyeshadow. And I'm not doing all the work with my eyeshadow for it to just be blocked by eyeliner. So these two I was reaching for quite a bit in February, consistently. Setting spray. This one's going to surprise you guys, and it is what I have on my skin right now. Usually I reach for my Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. It is actually really good. I used it a lot when we went to snowboarding. It helps keep your makeup where it's supposed to be. But today and the rest of February, it's been between the Charlotte Tilbury and this one when I did it in my drugstore video. It is the NYX Marshmallow Setting Spray. It is a matte finish makeup setting spray. It's what I have on. And none of my oils are starting to push through. Maybe a little bit right here if I look closely. But I have been shinier with other makeup on. So this, if If you need an affordable setting spray, the NYX Marshmallow. And even their primer was really good from, what was it, the Marshmallow Primer for lips. And it's what I have on right now, the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in Wherever Walnut. I have been reaching for this nonstop, and I'm pretty sure this was my January favorite as well. I was so in love with the Huda Beauty Muted Pink, Pinky Brown, and I was using that all the time the end of the year. But this, since I started using it in January, December-January timeframe, it has been my nonstop go-to. This and then a lip gloss on top. The one I have on right now, and it is the it is one of two plumping lip glosses that I like. This is the Buxom Plump Shot in the shade Dolly Babe. It is so good. It's so juicy and glossy on the lips. It's kind of got that minty menthol feel, not the habanero pepper. And we're going to talk about that because that was a fail this year. This is so good on the lips. If you haven't picked up any of the plump shots from Buxom, go and do it. I also have one that I picked up. It was a seasonal release, and it's like apple cinnamon donut. They're so good. And I love how they feel on the lips. Do I need a touch up? Probably not. But I'm going to do it anyways. And then I still have more lip products. I have not been reaching for my lipsticks or liquid lipsticks as much. It's mostly been lip liner and lip gloss. I was talking about that possibly being like a new trend. Are we going back to that? I know I've been reaching for it a lot. I like how my lip liners stay in place and then a lip gloss on top, and it doesn't mess up the color of the lip gloss if it's a clear tone. But then I've also been reaching for the Tower 28 Jelly Lip Gloss. This is so good. Picked it up in the Sephora bestseller video. Really, really like this. And then of course, these are a carryover from January. These have been viral. They're still viral, and they actually just put out a new line of, they're not juicy lips, lip vinyls. I know I ordered a couple. You'll see them in future videos, but they're the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Plumps. I'm still loving these. I'm still grabbing them for work. The glitter ones I can't wear to work, but the other Tarte Maracuja Juicy, those ones I'm using, they don't plump, but these do. They're also very, there's lots and lots of glitter. So I can't wear these in uniform because of the glitter, but after work, when I'm hanging out with friends, these I'm reaching for, and they're so, so good. Now, we do have a couple eyeshadow palettes, and one's a carryover from January. I don't know how long it's going to stay on my favorites list, but it is so good, especially when it comes to a neutral look or something that you want to glam up a little bit. It's the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. I absolutely love this palette because it's got some pinky tones, it's got gray tones. These shimmers are absolutely stunning. I took this with us snowboarding. I don't know how many times I'm going to say I took this with me snowboarding. I literally did that in the middle of February. But you guys, Natasha Denona, she did just release a face palette. I need to review that. But I love her eyeshadows, and they are so good. They last all day, and the shimmers are breathtaking. So if you haven't picked this up, you can definitely do that. Her site has really, really good shipping. I think this came in like 2 days later after I ordered it, even without getting express shipping. Also, there is an affiliate code. It's in the drop-down box if you're interested in saving some change. I want to say it's like 15%. But if you need a beautiful eyeshadow palette, the I Need a Nude is absolutely breathtaking and stunning. I reach for it nonstop, especially for work. Even on the weekends when I just want something a little more subdued, nothing too intense. But another nude palette I was reaching for, mostly for work. This is the Lunar Beauty Nude Prism. The color story is beautiful. If you want the lighter shades, you have that up top. You have the darker shades. So top and bottom are mattes, and then the center is some very buttery, smooth shimmers. And the ones I reach for the most when it comes to work, the shade Laura and then the shade Sam. which is kind of like a rose gold, and then this is the lighter of the goldish champagne tones. For work, I reach for Vibes a lot because it's more of a pinky tan. And then this shade right here, which is Milk Tea. And then if I want to deepen it up just a smidge, nothing too intense, but I have to be careful because it does lean red, is Bloom For You. But this one or the I Need a Nude, those were my neutral palettes for work in February. But you guys know, I love a beautiful, colorful eye look. And there are two. One, actually both of them. They're both indie brands. They're absolutely stunning. The one from Nomad, this is the New Zealand Stargazing. Go check this video out. It is absolutely a breathtaking palette. Very colorful. You have some beautiful shimmers and chromes, duochrome, multi-chrome. They are so beautiful. I love the pressings. They put so much detail and work into developing their eyeshadow palettes. I'm so excited for the rest of the releases this year. Last year they did not disappoint, but the quality of their eyeshadows, it's there. You have some beautiful lighter shades if you want a more muted look. You've got the deeper, darker, richer tones if you want a more colorful look. Just so much you can do with this palette. So I'm excited. I've been using this quite a few times. I really love the multi-chromes, but I've also been using, and this is the last eyeshadow palette, I swear. This one, they just actually released their new eyeshadow palette today, which I picked up. So I'm waiting for that to arrive. But this is from Ashley Lorraine Cosmetics, the Cold Moon palette. So they're doing pre-orders for the next release, I think. When I looked on their page today, it was still pre-orders, and when I ordered this, it was a pre-order, and I think it took about 4 or 5 weeks for it to come in. But it is such a beautiful palette. By the time you see this, the video for it should be up. If not, I will end up linking it in the drop down so you can check it out. The color story is so beautiful. For every matte, there's a shimmer, duochrome, multi-chrome shade, which I absolutely love. But then you've got some pinky mauve tones, you've got some gray cool tones, you've got 2 different brown shades that are a little bit deeper. One's more cool tone, one's a little bit more warm toned. So you have a little bit of everything in here. You can build it up to make it a little bit deeper, but I love the shimmers that are in here. I have been reaching for this nonstop. This past weekend, I wore it both days. I didn't film at all. I just wanted to play around with the makeup I had already purchased and played around with and did tutorials for, and I reached for this and my Nomad palette because they're bold, they're beautiful, they're bright and colorful. And I don't get to do that for work. One day I will get to do that all the time. But if you need a colorful, beautiful, multi-chrome palette, either of these two will do. Absolutely recommend. Now, I think that's all of my favorites for February. But you guys, we had some fails. And we're going to start with the one that I'm just kind of disappointed that it was a fail. I really, really, really wanted to love it, but it didn't do it. And that is the Kylie Cosmetics Power Plush Longwear Concealer. I really wanted to like this. When you're looking at this, the doe foot is really nice in a triangular shape. It just fits so nicely under the eye into that crevice, so you can get a really tight concealer area, but it just did not hold up on my skin. I've tried with other foundations, I've tried with different setting powders. It seemed to find the creasiness under my eye, and it just gravitated towards it. I wanted to love it. I wanted to continue to try it and see if I could figure it out, but it just did not work under my eyes. And no matter what, the creases are not going away. It happens. But there are concealers that I've already talked about that I absolutely love that do the trick to conceal some of the creases that I have and make my under eyes look a little more youthful. But this wasn't it. And then the other fail. And you guys, if you saw the drugstore video where I talked about this lip plump, I like a lip plump that is minty, menthol. it needs to be subtle. It doesn't need to be intense. It doesn't need to feel like I just ate a habanero pepper and then rubbed it in on my lips. And that's what this felt like. This is the NYX Duck Plump. And I ordered it online. So when I received it and I saw it, I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. Because it does say extreme sensation. It does say it. But I was like, okay, like how extreme is a lip plump gonna be? Buxom, not too bad. The Maracuja Juicy Plump, not too bad. Even Lawless, forget the filler. Love that. No, this, it just escalated. I'm not even trying to put it on right now. I have held onto it only for this video, and I'm probably just going to chuck it in the rubbish bin after this because it is painful. I don't even want to wish that on an enemy. It hurt so, so, so bad. I'm not giving it to any of my friends. I don't know that they would like the sensation. When I was talking to a couple of them about it, they're like, what did they put in there? And I was like, I don't know. Maybe capsaicin. I don't know. Does it say? This product may cause a temporary tingling sensation, which is normal. Discontinue use if you experience excessive discomfort. Do not use on chapped, damaged, or sensitive lips. It doesn't say what the tingle is. Maybe under the sticker? It doesn't really say what, is it like 3 pages of ingredients? There's more. I'm not pressed for that. I don't recommend it unless you love an intense sensation on your lips. Don't do it. Don't do it to yourself. It was painful. Even after I took it off and I just kind of put like a regular lip gloss on, it still hurt for a while. I personally do not recommend this. No one should be in the amount of pain that I felt on my lips. Lip plumping, oversized lips are not worth the pain. So sorry about that. Now, I do have a self-care item. I reviewed this earlier on in February and I have been in love with it. This is not sponsored. We already did that video, but I have still been reaching for it. And I'm after this video, I am taking my makeup off. I'm going to go sit down on the couch, hang out with the dog, and just relax for a little bit it's the eye massager from Alljoy. It's so, so good. I love the heating sensation on my eyes. Like I said, I've had this makeup on for over 12 hours now, and it is time for it to come off. It's time for me to lay down, relax, put the eye mask on, listen to the music, let it massage my eyeballs and temples and heat up, and just enjoy the rest of the night. But this is so, so good. If you have not picked up an eye massager, and whether it's from Alljoy or another brand, I highly, highly recommend it. It is a game changer. I have been in love with it. Definitely recommend. And the last one, let me know the favorites that you want me to talk about. I didn't pull any of my skincare favorites. There's not anything that I've been like super in love with right now. I've been trying out a couple different things. I'm not to the point that I'm like, ooh, I can't live without this. Except the eye mask. This one, Luke was laughing at me for, and I was heavily addicted to a TV show to the point that I was binge watching it. If he and I weren't doing something, or I wasn't like cleaning up the kitchen or cooking, I was literally watching this show, and I could not, like, I love history. I love a show or movie that has historically accurate but isn't necessarily fact. This show, however, because I did start Googling some of the things that they were talking about, and I was just like, oh, okay. Mind you, it's also been out for 7 seasons, and there's a reason it has 7 seasons. I was so addicted to the show Outlander. It is not recommended for younger in age. If you have not watched Outlander and you like history, but you also like a very steamy romance, that is definitely that show. The passion that Claire and Jamie have, I mean, 10 out of 10. But I will say, I love history, and then also digging deep into my ancestry DNA, and I love like researching my own history. And And part of that on my ancestry DNA is that I'm Scottish on my mom's side from my grandfather. So Outlander is filmed and starts in Scotland. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole from that TV show into Scottish history. I have a couple books that I ordered to kind of deep dive into that as well. So now I'm on this whole rabbit hole of Scottish history. But let me know, have you guys watched Outlander? I know I'm really, really late to the game on that show. There's supposed to be an 8th season, the 8th and final season of Outlander. And then they're also doing a spin-off, like a prequel. So I'm excited to watch those. They're not going to be out until like the end of 2024, 2025 timeframe. But if you have other shows that I should watch or you recommend, let me know in the comments. I am intrigued to see what you guys are interested in. I don't get big into like the reality TV shows, Bachelorette, or what is it? I've watched a couple of like 90 Day Fiancé. Those kind of, I'm intrigued. But I am really big into history fiction. But let me know the shows that you guys think I should watch. And are you an Outlander fan? Did you get to the point of binge watching? I want to know. Let me know if there's any other categories you want me to talk about my favorites in, and I will definitely compile those for March. But you guys, that is it for this video. Let me know if you agree with my favorites, if there's any that you think I should pick up. But that is it for February favorites. Before you guys leave, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications, new videos. And if you like this video, make sure to hit a big thumbs up. Until my next video, you guys, bye. I'll see you in the next one.